Well, good morning. I am incredibly excited this morning for a couple of reasons. One, I finally got to wake up in my own bed tonight after spending 6 days driving back and forth across the country. And number two is the reason I just spent 6 days driving back and forth across the country, and that is I got a new truck. Let's check it out. So this is my new truck. I'll tell you what it is, what makes it very different than your average rollback, because it is not your average rollback, and what I went through over the last almost a year to finally get basically this truck. First and foremost, you see that right there? That is what makes this truck very special, and we'll get to that, but we're going to start at the front and work our way back. So this is a 2005 International 8600. It's got the Cummins 410 horsepower ISM engine in it. It's got a 13-speed transmission. It's got 46,000 pound tandem drive rear axles, full double frame front to back, and that front axle is a 14,000 pound axle, so I can put the little bit bigger 385 tires and wheels on it to increase the weight capacity up here, which would be nice to do. But on the back of it is the very special thing about this truck. Yes, this is a rollback, but it's a lot more than your average rollback. This is an NRC 40 TB rollback bed, and that right there is a 25,000 pound winch. This bed has a capacity of 40,000 pounds on the bed, which you could never legally carry axle wise on this truck, but the bed can do it, just not legally. Now once we come here to the back, hey, it kind of matches my horse trailer. I didn't even realize that. Anyway, when we come here to the back, this is what makes the 40 TBs so special. This is basically the same crossbar underreach setup as on a full-on heavy wrecker, and it's rated to lift 20,000 pounds and tow 50,000 pounds. So what that means is this truck is an absolute game changer for my company, because it puts me back in the heavy equipment transport and in the heavy tow business all at the same time with one piece of equipment. And now the fact that I have heavy in the name of the company kind of starts to make some sense again. So since everybody always wants to see the inside of the trucks, let's go look inside. Now keep in mind, I've been living out of this thing for 4 days while I drove it back from Indiana. But yeah, International 8600 PTO, all your light bar, strobe light controls, handy little holder for the camera to sit in. Has all the trailer brake air system in it and everything. My seat is air ride. Passenger seat is not, but that's okay because my seat is air ride. 13-speed transmission, more work light controls, more strobe light controls, a light bar that's got to be out of the cab because I don't like tool type stuff in the cab. But this cab has a ton of room inside. Like I said, I just drove it 2,100 miles to get here, and I was perfectly comfortable inside of it. It was not fun driving that far, but I was totally comfortable in this truck. Fire it up, get some PTO, get a little throttle going. Let's show you what this bed does. So first of all, let's go to the important part, which is that tow bar out there. So this you'll put down, send underneath a broke down truck or whatever, fork the axle, do whatever you're going to do to hook it up, and pick it up and tow it. You can get a wheel grid setup for these, which I do want to do because that'd be really handy for like RVs and stuff like that. And they also have a sheave head attachment that goes right here, and the cable runs through a sheave head and then can pull off in any direction for recoveries. You're going to need to do one of those too. Bring that back up. And now we're full of air, as you can see, but we'll bring the bed back. I think this could be shined up pretty good. Now we'll tilt it down. And we've got a rollback bed. I actually still have the airbags fully inflated. It is air ride rear suspension, so if I dump the airbags, it'll actually give this a little better load angle. But yeah, 25,000 pound winch, 40,000 pound rated bed. I am so happy to finally have this truck. Okay, so now that I've shown you the truck, let's go over a little bit of what I went through to get the truck. These trucks are incredibly rare. Not an international, they're everywhere, but a truck with this 40 TB bed on the back. They're incredibly rare, and they do not pop up for sale very often at all. So they're very hard to buy unless you want to go spend $300,000+, which I wasn't able to do. So I've wanted one of these trucks for a very long time, but I've been actively trying to buy one of these 40 TB trucks for almost a year now. It was earlier this year. One came up for sale that was within budget, so I tried to jump on it, get it, got financing set up in place, and by the time the financing was set up, it had been sold to someone who had cash in their hand and took it. So lost out on that truck. Found another one a couple months later, and same thing, went through all the financing, got everything set up, and when it came time to actually, you know, like have my finance company give money in order to get title, we find out that the guy didn't even actually own the truck. He was leasing the truck from a leasing company, and never mentioned that, but also the leasing company didn't agree on selling the truck. So again, that was another one that went out the window. Then we had another one that the guy actually did own and could sell, but same thing happened where by the time I got my financing in place, he had sold it to someone cash. So after that, I was able to get my bank to get me an approval on a certain year range of truck and a certain price range and a certain type of equipment, all that. So that basically when we found this setup, I was good to go, could jump on it and get it. So we had that approval for 6 months now, I think, and still had the same problem. Found one in Canada actually, and went through the whole process of buying it. It was at a dealer, so should be all legitimate there, until it came time to try to import the truck into the US and find out that there was a Canadian lien on the truck, and not like a finance company lien, like Canada itself had a lien on this truck and it couldn't leave the country. So that one fell through. Then after that, this one popped up for sale, and my buddy Ryan sent it to me like immediately when it popped up for sale. So huge thank you to Ryan, which put me first in line. And I reached out to him right away, had everything set up. We started the whole process. This company that owned this truck before is known for having immaculate quality equipment. So it was a sight unseen purchase of a truck in Indiana on the other side of the country. But with the way this company keeps their equipment, the reputation they have, I was totally okay with that. So we got the whole process going, and then it came time for my finance company to actually fund the loan and, you know, give these guys the money, and they just went silent, and we didn't hear from them for days. And the sellers are like, hey, you know, we've got 4 other people trying to buy this truck, and 2 of them have cash in hand ready to go. What's going on? And finally turns out my finance company, the department that actually funds loans, is located in Florida. And right in the middle of all this, there happened to be a giant hurricane sweep through Florida and completely shut them down, took out power and all that stuff. So understandably there was a delay, but it was a very poorly timed delay for me purchasing this truck. Luckily, the guy selling this truck stuck with me, believed me when I said that the money was really there and going to come, and they did not sell it to the guys sitting there with cash ready to go. A couple days later, finance company got going again, sent the money, all was good. I hopped in my pickup and drove straight out to Indiana, hopped in this thing and drove straight back home, and just got back home yesterday afternoon. So it was a very long trip, 6 days of driving, and my pickup did completely flawless the whole way out there, and this truck that I bought sight unseen, luckily 100% flawless the entire drive back. I could not have been happier with how this truck did on the drive back. So now that we got it home, I've got to go to DMV a little bit later today, get that part of the registration done, go to Salem over the mountain tomorrow to get the Commerce Division part of the registration done, and finish loading it up with tools and equipment and all that stuff and get to work. Because I already have one heavy tow lined up for this thing. There's a Peterbilt broke down that I got to get and haul over the mountain, and just waiting on the registration stuff to clear with this truck and get to that one. So it's sitting right now. It can wait for a little bit, not too long. So I'm trying to hurry up with the registration as fast as I can. But either way, this is the new truck. Maybe put some WD-40 on those door hinges. But this is it. You're going to start seeing a whole lot of this truck on the channel. And I could not be more excited to get back into a big truck, back into the heavy towing, back into the equipment hauling. This is just an absolute game changer, and I am thrilled to have it. So just one more thing, because I know I'm going to get this question. Am I going to run this truck for free like I do with like the Jeeps and like the little tow truck, because you know YouTube pays for stuff and all that? And absolutely no, definitely not. YouTube is not what bought this truck. My credit score is what bought this truck, and now the work this truck does is what's going to pay for this truck. So this, definitely not free. This is a business that has to earn money and pay for itself just like any other business, and that's how it will be treated. So not free. This one will be free for the off-road recoveries. This one will be free for the off-road recoveries, but for normal like on-road towing type of stuff that any other tow company does, this isn't free either. I charge for that stuff just like any other tow company would. And most importantly, this one will be free for the off-road recoveries once it has the tracks back on it. Yes, I still have it. Yes, it is getting tracks back on it for this winter. And yes, I am excited about that. Hopefully you guys are too. I'm gonna go start loading up that truck with gear, head to DMV, and see you guys next time.